Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. In roundabout 5.5 hours, we're gonna go ahead into reclass once again into the Sentinel League, and today I want to talk about three things. The first one is my final thoughts about my kind of league starter that I want to play, which is like an Essence Drain, or at least let's say a Chaos Dot, because it's not entirely sure if it's like an Essence Drain, Contagion, Blight, Bane, these kind of things. Then I want to talk about like my early Atlas passive tree, more like how it will look like, where the journey will go, as well as like the beginning of my League Star Diary series that I'm doing since a couple of leagues already that I really enjoy doing as well. So I would say first off, let's talk about my League starter. So sorry, the thing about my League starter is I personally, I'm definitely not known for bringing like any super creative league starters. For me personally, league starters is kind of like waste of my time, if I would say it this way, because for me, Path of Exile is like a marathon and not a sprint, right? If I take 15 hours to get into the maps, then I take 15 hours. You know, I'm the last person that says like, yo, I want to kill the uber pinnacle bosses at least on day 2 of the league, you know? And if I kill them in like 2 weeks, I'm fine with that, right? For me, all I want to do is just have fun and just trying to like farm up currency and just, like trying to develop my build before I do all of the fancy stuff. So I'm not a racer, I'm not a hardcore player, so keep that in mind, right? So, and this is kind of like the problem that I see on my build because it is an Essence Drain Contagion build, right? It most likely is going to be an Occultist. I was thinking about either doing Occultist or Trickster or something like that, right? But I decided to go with the Occultist just because there is like more build options that you can work in, because there is other builds that also interest me in the form of an Occultist, because or at least, for example, the Cold Dot or Wintertide brand or anything like that. And the thing with Trickster, I just think nowadays with like removing Ghost Dance out of the Trickster and stuff like that, it's more or less a bit of a dead ascendancy, or at least like definitely one if not the weakest ascendancy right now out of all of the character ascendancies. So the big issue that I have in this case is that I kind of know where the journey will go. Where do I see this character in the end game levels, okay? And here we definitely say we want to have low life, right? That includes a Chevron's wrapping. So can you league start with the Chevron's wrappings? No, you cannot. So you're forced to start this entire build as a life-based version until you farmed up enough currency to get like a 5-link or even a 6-link Chevron's wrappings, which completely changes the entire tree and the way we're gonna reserve mana and so on. So these are like literally two complete different builds. So that's why I also don't want to like spend too much time trying to develop like a life-based Essence Drain version if I already know that it's going to be low life, right? The next problem is that I would like to incorporate like max block glancing blows. Either it's going to be energy shield on block, or it's going to be something like an Aegis Aurora. And that would involve armor stacking. So that also means that I should or really want to get determination in. So without the Aegis Aurora or with any like block or energy on block, I don't need to go for something like a glancing blows because I have absolutely no gain. It's actually having more downside. So with not reserving determination, it also means I have more mana reservation free to opt in something like a Chaos Slinger. So the way I personally kind of see it right now is that I'm going to start as a form of a Chaos Slinger as a cultist. And then work my way up through the early act progression, right? Going into maps, and then just personally, I don't see an issue like going into high tier maps with a Chaos Slinger. But we all know Essence Drain is not really known for having insane amounts of single targets. So doing like early pinnacle boss and stuff like that should be quite hard. But this is already for me personally like maybe day 3, day 4 of the league when I start to like finish the entire Atlas, and at this point I should maybe gathered like 10, 15, 20 exalts to get myself a Shafts, and this will change a lot of things if we then can go for like a Pain Attunement. So long story short, I know where the journey will go. I see where the build should be in like the later stages of the game, but I personally don't really care too much about what is going to be before, you know? I don't like need to stress myself about that. I know I just made like a quick like early leveling tree. Maybe it looks something like this, just going for an occultist, just taking a lot of like life nodes, all the important chaos clusters. Here more chaos damage, here chaos damage, life, more chaos damage, and here is the same thing. We have mana reservation, we have life with chaos damage, just super generic simple things. And this would be a tree for like level 84 or something. So basically level like, or at least like, let's reach a couple points with like without master, just throw them in. But it would be like somewhere around 80, right? And usually on like day 3 or 4 you should be somewhere towards level 90, 92 or something like that. So then it just depends, what do you want to do, right? Oh, I need more mana reservation. I have here mana reservation if I need to. I have here sovereignty if I need to. And I also could opt in other, no, actually I don't really want to go. Yeah, it would be an option, right? But there is like many ways to accomplish more mana reservation efficiency if I need to, if I want to. I can also incorporate like early on, for example, Soul Siphon is pretty good for the mana gained on kill, so you don't struggle like with mana recovery, so you can continuously start mapping or at least like kill stuff, right? So it's just going to be like super flexible when I say like where do I see myself? Did I find like a what is it? Not Cane of Kolomak, but the other like Cane of the Unraveling or something. Then I'm most likely gonna take some staff notes over here, right? If I stay the Spellslinger wise and I go like a shield and a wand, then I'm gonna opt in some block notes on top of that, right? So as I say, this is like super generic stuff. There is absolutely nothing special. By the way, this POV is completely empty, so I'm just like making a tree, right? The other things, rare items, life resistance, and you should be fine. Maybe the vendor recipe for some nice ones with like +1 all chaos skill gems. Maybe farming up a tabula for like some early damage gain. And yeah, that's pretty much all the plans that I have. So as I said, I'm not the guy that is like doing super min-max league starter builds, because how long do I see myself calling my build league starter? I think the first 2 or 3 days, because as soon as you acquire like a 6-link shafts or something like that, it's not a league starter anymore. So why even bother with it, right? But I still want to give you guys like just a small little update on where the journey will go, and then we're gonna see where we go from there. And even in my like super late game kind of like stage, I also tried to get in like something like the melding of the flesh. If I go the route with the Aegis Aurora, just trying to get ridiculous amounts of cold res, maybe even getting in a purity of ice or something, or with a new with a new jewel where you can like allocate passes around a keystone. I could see myself maybe getting Unwavering Stance for like prismatic skin and the max cold res to complement my melding the flesh jewel, right, to get like the 90 max all res. But then there is also the issue that you definitely need a lot of resistance to go that way. That also means that maybe I need to do a purity of element setup for the ailment immunity and also to cap my resistances. But this is like, this kind of version would be like so far into the higher budget that I could also like finish this kind of PUB once we're getting closer, where I say like, okay, now it's time. I have made some currency. I do have a good amount of baseline equipment. So let's really see if this melding the flash is actually a good way. But for league start, for as of right now, I worked on it for a bit, but it's not finished yet. But as I said, I do have time to do stuff like that later on. So, good, that's about this one. How about the Atlas passive tree? So, I just made a super generic early, league start one, because the Atlas passive tree will change regardless, right? Whatever you want to farm, you will adjust your Atlas tree. And this is like super basic stuff once we are starting to like league start until our entire Atlas is clear, which is the my most this is what I'm working on in the first week of the league, getting all the Atlas passive points as well as finishing all the maps. And then once this is done, I can say league start is over for me because I've done everything. Now we start looking into farming strategies. Now we maybe have like, I don't know, a magic find character to pump up like currency or something like that. But in the early stages, you look for map sustain. And this is what I did here. Basically, you go up the route, taking here some essence nodes. Essence is proven to be like very good, not only for the selling aspect but also for crafting gear early on. You know, if you miss like one res, you just have essences that give you like cold res, lightning res, whatever. You need some more life, take some life essences. So it's not only for the selling point, it's also for crafting some gear early on that is not like super trash, right? So that's why I go up here, taking just essence nodes, going up here, then taking the expert renaissance as well as commissioned officer just for like the Keurig missions, more map sustain, taking the shaping the valleys as well as shaping the seas for the additional or chances to drop maps higher, which will help me to progress the atlas as well as giving me more map sustain. And then most likely going up here for the stream of what is this, consciousness, whatever. This is like the anti-map juicing, because early on in league start, you don't really care too much, or at least I don't care too much about putting fragments into like the map device as well as scarabs or all these kind of things. You know, I just want to get the map completions done. So the stream of consciousness will definitely help me getting this like more efficient farming, right? Then basically the next step that I would do as soon as I went up the complete middle road is most likely gonna go down here for the shaping the mountains, which is another additional source of the map sustain. Then just click on essence here and you will see that I have gotten all the 4 essence nodes. I think like essence is like for me pretty much a baseline because it's easy to do. I mean, we're not going to know exactly just because we don't know how powerful these rare monsters are, right? But for me, essence has been proven to be a very good sustained income, basically, right? Then we're also going to go down here on the left side to just start blocking off the first league mechanics, as well as then on the second part going the right side for the shaping the skies, as well as blocking more league mechanics. And this is a super, how you say, personal opinion thing. What are you blocking and what not? For me personally, I like to run something like breaches. I like legion encounters. I like delirium, right? And if I go down here, I don't care about abysses. I don't care about expedition. I don't care about this the harvest things, right? I don't care about blight as well as ritual or heist in that case, right? And metamorph, right? So as I say, if you say, yo, bro, like, why would you block expedition? You can make so much currency. I mean, tell me one league mechanic where you cannot make a lot of currency if you focus farm on it, right? So this is really pick the ones that you say, okay, I don't like blight mechanics. I think Cassia is an annoying singer and it slows my gameplay down. Then just block it, you know? It's really personal opinion. What do you enjoy and what not? I personally see myself more of a Legion, Delirium, and Breach farmer, just to get like more monster density, right? And here we have invested like 70 points, nothing too fancy. On the next stage, I would most likely incorporate some of the strong boxes, just because I think strong boxes are like really, really nice to have, just as an addition, right? As well as like getting this one here, tamper proof, where your strong boxes are corrupted and at least rare. This is like good for me because I was always, in all the years that I played the game, too lazy to throw an alchemy on my strong boxes to roll them, and this way they just are pre-rolled basically, right? Yeah. That means like I have like my essences, I have all my map sustain stuff, and now I'm starting to get in maybe those 2 nodes for the strong boxes. On the next stage, I think it might be actually nice to do something like the Valley of Darkness, just for the additional rare monsters have an additional modifier. I think would be quite nice. And then maybe going for something like maybe Harbingers again, right? Because they're super close by, so I could just skill like up here, remove that 2 points, then save up some space here, right? Taking these Harby nodes, and then there is another Harby node on top of here. Could take, basically, is just like a couple of points. I'm not sure. Stack of currency, chance of Harby. So at the top side, I guess, right? So maybe something like this. And then you still have to look like, okay, what is the next step? At this point, you still have like a bunch of points left. Just take whatever you feel like, oh, now it's basically time to, I don't know, take whatever league mechanic you enjoy, right? You could do some breach nodes, some legion nodes, some delirium nodes. I think like here are some nice delirium nodes. But this would be like the kind of end state. And once you're done, once your atlas is completely clear, then you don't really have to bother with like the map sustain too much anymore, right? You could get in like the singular force, I think, where the non-favored maps are going to be converted into currency, but this is like after league start. This is when you would really like just respec your entire Atlas tree and then go for an actual Atlas strategy where you not have to focus about map sustain too much, right? So this is basically early stuff as well as the POB stuff that I made just to see how do we go, right? And the thing is, like, it's always based on how much currency you make, right? You could have a lucky drop early on and all of a sudden you have like 10-15x on day 2 and you're already low life essence drain for me personally, right? So I could also be like super unlucky. Maybe my SS Drain character sucks ass and I'm super hard stuck in yellow tier maps. Maybe I'm gonna swap to Cold Dot. Maybe I do something else if I see it's not working out. But you know, this is like League Start. Everybody plays League Start a little bit different. And for me, I just want to have fun and see where the journey goes. Good. And then lastly, about the League Start diary that I'm doing since a couple of weeks. I'm going to start this today. Means I told you just what is my starting plans. So for tonight's stream, it's not going to be too fancy. The league starts at like 10 p.m. my time. I usually go to bed like 4 or 5 a.m. or so. That means I have like a couple hours. So maybe I go like Act 6 or something, maybe Blood Aqueducts, maybe if I'm really motivated, I go into like kind of maps. But as I say again, if it takes me 15 hours to maps, then I see myself going into maps in like day 2. It depends on how time consuming the league mechanics are and basically then we see us tomorrow again with some the first like maybe highlights, maybe the first Mirror of Calandra drop on level 35 or something. That would be actually insane. And yeah, this is probably the league where I'm going to, where I'm most likely going to find my Mirror of Calandra. It has to happen at some point, and this is the league. I already said, like, this league, I'm going to find a Mirror. I know I say this since the past 10 leagues, but trust me, this is the league. Good. Then I would say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be streaming this entire thing. As obvious, I'm probably going to go online at like 9 p.m. or something, like 1 hour before league starts, so we can hang out, do some adjustments, some POBs, or talking about some strategies, and then we go from there. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.